Well, I can actually, start the tour if you want, and
Absolutely.
and you could use the HUD, but I think since we have very few people here, if I go somewhere, we'll just teleport you, and you can actually bring the other people, to the place that we want to visit.
Certainly.
So typically, I mean, I'm just going to describe a little bit. Right behind you, you'll find that we have set up a uniform store. And one of the reasons, of course, we decided to have a uniform store is because for the exercises that we have, for example, for exercises for incident command systems, where you want people to actually play various roles on the incident command system, we thought it would be a good idea for people actually either to wear uniforms so that they get kind of logged into whatever role they're supposed to be playing. So they would just go into the store and pick whatever uniform they're supposed to be wearing. The other thing is, just feel free to go in and pick anything you want and wear it. So maybe that would actually demonstrate how it's done to others. We also have, the whole set of incident command vests, which I did actually put in the store. I mean, that's something we need to do. And the vest comes with attachments that when you click on, which actually produce note cards with task action lists and stuff like that. So basically, one of the functions of these vests is that it tends to make things a little more immersive when you're role playing, and if you're actually doing a machinima and doing a video recording, it actually becomes much more interesting to watch during the debriefing sessions as well. I'm not sure if Cathy, if you have actually watched the machinima that we did with Sit-on Hall. It's just a 5-minute clip of a sequence of events that happened in relation to an explosion in a restaurant, and there were supposed to be people injured in it. And you can actually see that video on the worldwideweb.play2train.org site. So maybe after the talk, because and I tried to, maybe I've got about 15 minutes more, 15-20 minutes more, but at the end, if there's some more time, you can actually just go to that site and watch the videos that's up there. And one of the more interesting ones is the one we did with a Sit-on Hall. It's a video about an emergency exercise. That was used to motivate, to create the motivation for a specific risk communication course. And there is also another video that you will see. It's about a replica of a virtual hospital that we are building for the ERGS Rehabilitation Hospital. And unfortunately, I cannot actually provide you access to that new hospital because the management of the hospital felt that for security reasons, it still needed to be under private access, under controlled access. Okay, so now you can see the two Kale and Kate wearing their uniforms, and I guess let me see what next. Let us go to. Okay, let's go. I'm going to teleport myself there, and then I'm going to teleport Kate, and then Kate is going to teleport Kale. So I'm going to go to the blue med tent. The blue med tent is just let me see. I need to teleport Kate. If I teleport. Oh. It's saying that you are in a busy mode, so you won't actually see my teleport. But if you're wearing the HUD, unless you want to actually go out of busy mode so that I can actually also you teleport. Okay?
Yes, I just did that. So Sorry. Now I'm ready.
All right. So then you can bring Kayla along. Okay. So let's wait for some time, maybe on your end, for all the textures to download. Let me know when the textures have downloaded and things are no longer gray. So basically, this whatever is going to appear right now is a rapid response emergency tent that can be deployed over a couple of hours if you are in a situation where there is a surge situation and all the hospitals are filled up and you need to find additional space to treat your patients. So there is a slideshow next to the tent. I'm actually facing it, and maybe you could actually zoom in a little bit on the phone, and it's going to show you pictures of the BlueMed tent in the real world. And you can see that it's pretty similar to what we have in the virtual. Maybe you could actually use your camera to zoom on top of the whole tent and zoom in and out and just show how things look like. So we actually used this tent in a drill that we did with the Center for Advanced Distance Education. They are folks from the University of Illinois in Chicago, I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's UIC. All right. So they actually worked with us and they created a scenario which they played out here for a distance learning conference that was being held in some place in California. I can't remember the name right now. But anyway, one of the things that I wanted to tell you here is that you are able to do exercises, of course, at a distance. And you don't really need to be all in a computer lab, of course. But there is room for both face-to-face and virtual exercises. And there are quite a lot of folks who like to experiment in this hybrid fashion, especially when you're actually starting to use these simulations and you want your students to be in the lab, and it's easier for you to actually, talk to your students and help them out during the initial sessions. Of course, then you can always participate from their, room in their dormitories and stuff like that. So let's move inside the tent. One of the things that was interesting with this tent is that a lot of people did not actually know about the BlueMed tent, even the responder, audience. So could you two just follow me, because I need to close the airlock and launch the air decontamination stuff here. So that's going to pump in, whatever gases are required to do the decontamination, and then the door is going to open, and then we walk in. Just follow me quickly because the door is going to close. All right. And again, here we have, what was interesting was that the emergency response folks had to spend some time organizing, how they would use the space in this tent. There are a lot of people who've never been in one, so you can actually imagine how useful it would be for those people to go into one of those tents and get a sense of how much space is available. I think there's a video streaming. It's just a video of some person talking about Katrina. I just wanted, it might actually take some time to download because it's a QuickTime file. It will take some time to download before it's played, and it might actually slow down things. So, but just to let you know, on the screen in front of the chairs, opposite to the chairs there, you can stream any videos. It's something that most people, I don't need to say, it's just one of the functionalities provided by Second Life anyway. So let's just click on the door to open it. And then we have like an ICU ward in here with with beds and ventilation machines and stuff like that. So that's just to give you an idea. I think Kim is right, and you can think of how those props can actually be used in your tabletop exercises. As I said, a lot has to do with a lot of those exercises become interesting when people see how much participation gets generated when you do things in the virtual. It's quite amazing. Even if you have a scenario that's running over 15 minutes, you will end up with a very large, chat log with lots of information if you choose to actually have communication by texting. So there's always this debate whether we should use voice during an exercise or text. It depends on what technologies you're familiar with. If you're using voice for an exercise, it makes it easier for folks to interact in the exercise. But then you have to spend time listening to a recording and transcribing, and then looking at the conversations and do a conversational analysis and try to see, if you're interested in those kind of things, looking at communication breakdowns and how people are actually, collaborating in order to address the specific situation. Then those are all calls that the designer will have to make based on what they feel comfortable with. So let me just start it here, and we'll move to somewhere else, and then teleport Kit, and we'll do the same thing. Alright. So now we are going to go to the hospital library, which is okay. Now I'm going to get Kit to follow me here. Let's